I'm Justin Davis, and this is Drone Camps RC. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the shop. I'm super excited today because we're going to go outside and we're going to fly one of the world's hottest 5-inch race quads, the Holybro Kopis 2 SE model. Skywatch.Ai insurance is on demand, and anytime you need it, check out the link below. And time to get excited, guys, because we're giving away a Kopis 2 SE here on the channel. All you have to do is click on the Patreon link down below, support me for $1 or more for my videos during the months, and you get entered to win monthly drawings. All right, guys, welcome back from that little break. We're gonna go ahead and jump right into this review. Now, I had this at Meldrum Park the other day, and there were some other race pilots there, and they noticed right away when I put this quad up in the air, it sounds like it means business, and it's very, very smooth and cuts the air like a knife. It is very smooth and really precise sounding. I tested it first for line of sight before I actually put the goggles on and FPV'd it, and I was throwing this thing around in line of sight like no other quad that I have this year. It almost felt like a 3D heli. I mean, I was doing multiple flips with this, and I'm gonna take you outside in just a second after we go over a little bit of the specs in the frame for you. And we'll do some line of sight flying with it, and we'll do some FPV, but where this guy really shines is FPV. Once I got into the goggles, I basically only did like one long flight for you guys, and I got a really nice flight time out of it as well, which is a really nice characteristic of a 5-inch quad. You don't get a lot of flight time on some of these real hot quads because they eat up batteries in less than 3 minutes, and I usually do suck a battery down and puff a battery pretty quick with some kind of power system such as this. But let's go ahead and put this one on the bench. We'll take a little closer look at the Kopis 2 SE, and then we'll go outside and do some line of sight flying and some FPV. So here we go. Let's talk about the specs, and then we'll run out and fly. There it is, guys, the Kopis 2 SE, and this is the box that you get in the mail. This is about $300 retail right now from Holybro. You can also get it from GearBest as well. I'll try to put a link down below for that as well, and the manufacturer link. But what's really cool about this video, if you're watching this review, I'm giving this away this month. If you click on the link down below for my Patreon and become a supporter and a supporter of my videos for $1 or more a month, then you will get into the drawing. And at the end of the month, I'm gonna ship this to somebody's door. So you're gonna be flying this by the end of the month, which is really, really awesome. Now, Holybro's been around for a while. I'm just gonna go ahead and unbox this for you real quick and show you what's inside the Kopis 2 box. That signature case that comes along with a lot of the Holybro quads, ever since some of the first versions that they've made. Really nice zipper, little carrying handle on the front. But what's really cool, once you open it up, check this out. You have an accessories pouch on the left-hand side, and you have what looks like a battery strap, but you can fit the quad in here with the props on, and this battery strap right here, which is actually your quad strap, it's part of the case. So lift this over, and then you can take the quad out. But I love that this case has a little bit of foam padding down here, and it's big enough that you can fit it in there with the props on. So if you really want to take care of this quad for your $300 investment, that's nice that you have enough room for props and some extra accessories in there. But let's go ahead and take a look at the quad now a little bit closer up. Now just look how awesome this frame looks from the front on that little 3/4 view, and from the side view it does look very low profile. You've got 4 bolts up at the top. That's a really awesome trend for 2018. Flat top for putting on any kind of GoPro or action camera. Plenty of places to mount one of those. And over here, this is the Atlo HV, and the Atlo HV version 2, by the way, let me go ahead and zoom in there. That baby right there will crank all the way up to 800 milliwatts. So you can do pit mode, 25 milliwatt. You can go up to 25, 200, 500, and 800 milliwatts. So if you wanted to long range this guy, you could do that. And there's a little tiny button right here, by the way, that switches your power and your bands and everything on that side. So over on this side, you have an LED display and you have an MMCX connector. So thumbs up for the MMCX connector on the Atlo version 2. I love that. And coming out the back, following that antenna wire just down to the back, we have sort of a different style mount. Look, there's a bolt right through here, and all the hardware is recessed for the exception of the motor bolts. But look at that, flat recessed bolts, and there's an aluminum mount right here that actually slides into the frame right here. And we're going to see how well that holds up during my flight. If I crash, I'm wondering if this is going to snap or break out of the frame. But this looks different than what I've seen before. It looks like it's really reinforced up in here. So it's also kind of a little bit out of the way of the props. It does sit a little bit just below where the props are. You don't want to bend this up any more than where it's at, but also nice that they do include a Foxeer lollipop, and it looks like the version 1 lollipop. And just below that Atlo HV version 2, we have the Kokoot F7 flight controller. That's the brand new flight controller on here, running the latest version of Betaflight. And over here on this side, you'll see that it does have a harness coming up from the Teco 32 ESCs up to here. So all your signal and everything is all coming up from here for each motor, signal wire, all that good stuff. And the power goes up to your flight controller. Next to that, you have your USB port for Betaflight. You have full Betaflight OSD on this guy as well. And everything in here is soft mounted. If you look at just a little bit closer, you can see that there is soft mounting just below where the plastic standoffs are. Right in between those is some soft mount, and underneath right there. So a very nice mount for the F7 flight controller. And it looks like Holybro has chosen a run cam for this quad, which is pretty standard these days. A lot of people want some type of run cam on their quads. This happens to be the Swift Micro on here. So this is the 2.3 lens on here, 2.3 millimeter lens, and that 1/3 CMOS sensor inside this camera. And over here on this side, you have the buzzer tucked in, and it's already actually glued down to the frame. So I tried moving the buzzer, and it's actually sitting there pretty sturdy. So also nice that they do include a buzzer that's already hooked up. So once you have your switches already set up on this, you can set up your buzzer switch as well. And if we look at this frame from the top, it's definitely a Stretch X style frame, and it is some type of carbon fiber twill, and it is 5mm. Check that out. That is a 5mm bottom plate with replaceable arms, and they already have that little rubber bumper down here for your battery and holding your battery in place while you fly. And what I really love about Holybro straps is they're extra thick. They're a little bit wider than some of the other straps out there. And also, if you look at the very top, you will notice these two distinct antennas, the way they have them sitting forward right here. This is no problem, because when the quad powers up, it's actually going to push these antennas down and out of the way. They're not likely to get sucked up into your props. And also, just below the F7 flight controller, we have that Teco 32. That's TEKKO 32. This is a 4-in-1 35 amp flight controller, and they do say that it is 4 to 6S capable. So the biggest bell and whistle upgrade on this entire quad, I think, is the T motors, and these are F40s, but these are the Pro 2 versions with 2400 kV. So I'm getting a really nice flight time out of this motor, and I'm getting max power, and possibly rated up to 6S, as Holybro says. And also, by the way, tucked underneath this harness right here, if you move these wires out of the way, kind of hard to access, but there is a black box SD card right there. So if you want to do black box data recording, just move these wires out of the way or unplug this one, put your SD card in there and plug your wires back in. And they also give you 2 sets of Cyclone props in here. These are the 5046 props. Not really a prop that I run very often. You can get a lot of power out of these, and if you want a lot of freestyle hang time, these would be nice. They do have a really nice thick cord in the center and a nice tapered end on there, so it's going to sound nice and quiet when you spool up. But I'm actually going to run the 5040 Cyclones today, because they're just a little bit thinner cord and a little bit thinner at the tips, which is going to give me just a little longer flight time. And that's kind of, I want to max out the flight time on this quad today, because I know it flies extremely well. But you also get a spare parts list in here, and that lists all of the parts by item number on here, and it gives names of everything. So you do have that information if you need to order new parts from Holybro or GearBest. Now, inside your accessory pack, you get the RXSR manual, and that goes to your receiver on board, and it tells you all the different tabs on here and how to bind it up inside Betaflight. You also get your band and channel card. This is a 40 channel VTX. It's not 48 channels. Some of the channels that they have on there are blocked out due to being illegal in the US. And you get an extra adhesive pad here for your gyro, your floating gyro, and you get an extra harness in there as well, a cable harness. You can just barely see it right there, but that's going to clip in on each end if you do sever that wire harness, which is not likely to happen because it is tucked up inside the frame pretty good. You also get a run cam controller, and you're going to use that with this cable, and you'll be able to tune that micro swift on board if you want to change the settings. An extra 3M sticky tape there, 2 pieces of heat shrink for your antennas, 2 pieces of zip tie, a wire harness, and you get your RunCam Swift card with your manual links down below here. It's runcam.com/download. So I got the scale on. Let's go ahead and set the Kopis 2 on there and weigh it. We have 302.9 grams. It says on the box that it's 299 grams, but this is pretty close. So let's go ahead and set a graphene battery on there. This is a 4S1300 by Luminaire, and we're looking at 473.7 grams total takeoff weight. A little bit heavier than I had thought it was just by handling it. It does feel pretty lightweight, but you know, depending on what type of battery you're going to run on here is really going to dictate whether you're under 500 grams or not. But anyway, guys, let's just go ahead and take this Rockstar outside so I can show you what it's really made of. We're going to do some line of sight flying with it. After that, we're going to do some badass FPV. Here we go. All right, let's get this beast up in the air, and no mistake about it, this is another beast. $300, and this is an insane amount of quad for $300. I've flown other quads this year that were close to $500 bind and fly that performed just like this one does. And this one might actually feel a little bit better. The handling is really crisp. I got a little bit crazy with my line of sight flying with it because it was so precise. And it just flips and rolls on a dime. And I never really felt like I was going to crash it. It kind of reminded me of like getting back to flying my 3D helis. No stabilization, just, you know, flying in pure acro, playing around with all the different orientations. So much fun to fly this quad. And I had to put it down before I ended up stuffing it, but I knew right away that I was going to love this quad just flying it for the first time. I've flown so many quads line of sight first and then strapped on the goggles and FPV'd it. And you can really get a feel for a quad if you do a little bit of line of sight flying with it first. And most of the time you're going to do that anyway, because before you go out and fly FPV, it's always a good, you know, time to put it down on the ground, hover it, see how precise it hovers, make sure all your motors are running the right direction. But listen to that really smooth sounding quad. And I think these 50-40s are really nice. Punch out is ridiculous. This quad, it's awesome. Look how fast this thing is. I mean, you almost couldn't build something this nice. There's a lot of people out there that have exceptional build skills, and I have definitely seen much nicer quads than this one. But for the average guy out there, they're probably not building something with this crazy specs on it, unless you're putting like Titan 60 amp 4-in-1 ESC with the HDLRC all-in-one stack on there. But that's around $160 alone for that all-in-one stack. This quad is $300 ready to roll. So let's go ahead and get this quad up in the goggles, guys. You're gonna love this. Let's go ahead and strap them on and get this guy airborne. Tuning, no PID tuning, no nothing. It's flying perfect. That's awesome. All right, let's go ahead and get the Kopis 2 off the ground. Look at that power boost. That's full throttle straight up. Just totally crazy. Look at all of the power and precision this quad has. It's like a finely tuned tool. Definitely was factory flown and PID tuned somewhere overseas before it hit the US. This is definitely not just a flight controller they strapped on there and didn't touch, because I have total control here. It's the first time I've ever flown this quad, so keep that in mind. Just cruising along the field here. And man, this thing is totally locked in. And I haven't flown a lot of F7, so this is kind of a new experience for me. There is another F7 that's out there, but I didn't spend a lot of time flying. I've been flying mostly F4s. And this is really nice. There's hardly, I don't think there's any vibes at all in this entire system. It's really nice. And there's not a lot of jello on these straight punch outs, so if you look at the camera, there's not a whole lot of vibrations. This is a nicely tuned quad. And the run cam, if you haven't noticed already, there's almost no breakup in the VTX. I get low to the ground, of course you're going to get a little bit of breakup. Closer to the ground you get. But once I get back up in the air right in front of myself like this, way out into the field, no problems. Until I come back to the ground. A little bit of static there close to the ground. But that's a really good VTX, and I'm not sure what the default is that they have this set on but I'm assuming that it's somewhere around 200. I wouldn't believe this would be 25 milliwatt. You can see some props in the camera view if that bothers you. That's kind of the way it's going to be. I have a pretty good camera tilt on here, probably 35 degrees. You can still see some props there, which is not the end of the world. A little sort of knife edge spin there. Playing around with these goalposts. The first time I've flown this quad, I really did not want to hit a goalpost. Never a good thing. Up, tumbled and flew out of it. Always a good thing when you can recover. But the perfect day to test this out. The field was totally dry. It rained the next day, so I got actually pretty lucky here. Just playing around with this ball diamond out here. Nobody's out here today, so really nice day to fly on a weekday. Playing around with these goalposts again. This quad is locked in. For someone that knows how to race multi-GP, I would be a little afraid to go up against someone who really knew how to flying this quad. Because with the speed and the power it has on 4S, if you ran this on 6S, and you know how to fly 6S on a multi-GP course, you're going to be a terror on the course. And for freestyle, this quad gets 100 out of 100 for freestyle maneuvers, capability, float, hang time, precision, perfect rolls. Little knife edge down the tree here. I'm just totally comfortable doing anything I want with this quad. I told someone out of the field it kind of feels like you're flying a Porsche, because I can fly close, low to the ground, fast, high up, boost up, plenty of throttle, and my battery's getting a little bit low already. But right now I'm almost at 4 minutes, and I'm down to 14.7. That's pretty sweet, because the battery, the Luminaire battery on this quad is not the newest battery in the world either. So a 4-minute flight time is definitely a good amount of flight time. So I gotta say, this quad is definitely worth the $300. I'm gonna give this one 5 out of 5 stars. If you'd like to check this one out in the link below, grab one, buy it. You will absolutely not regret this one. It's one of the best quads of 2018, and I think most of the guys out here probably feel very similar about this quad. That is definitely a good buy. So 5-star quad again in my hands. Congratulations, Holybro. I think everyone's gonna love this quad, especially for the price point you guys have it at. I'm Justin Davis. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye bye.